Tonight on To The Point, conflicting opinions about the latest homelessness numbers which show an increase in Folsom.
It's absolutely incorrect to describe it as a spike.
Why advocates and leaders say it's an ongoing problem and what's being done to address it. Plus, a business owner fed up with crime.
I'm just saying when it's going to end now.
What he's demanding local officials do.
Gusty winds ramp up this weekend. The fire concerns that lie ahead.
And later on the backroads, we show you the local railroad tracks that became a race site for a handcar derby. We start with breaking news just into the newsroom. CHP has issued an Amber Alert for 3-year-old Maverick Brown. Take a look at your screen. This little boy has blue eyes, blonde hair, and was wearing tan shorts and a tan shirt. Officers say he was taken from Nevada County this afternoon. He's believed to be with 30-year-old Sierra Solitero. She is 5'4" with blonde hair and blue eyes. The suspect and the child are believed to be walking in the Nevada County area. Anyone with information should call 911. Well, thank you for joining us on To The Point. I'm Becca Hoppiger. Alex Bell has the night off. We start with our homelessness crisis. So even though Sacramento County on the whole saw a drop in its homeless population, numbers from the most recent point-in-time count show an increase in Folsom. But as ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen found out, Folsom city officials say there's more to these numbers than the report shows. And homelessness is an issue they've been addressing for years. Jeannie shows us what's next for the city and how business owners are responding.
My grandparents opened this place when I was 1. We've been open for 36 years.
And in all that time, Travis Tyndall says the homelessness issue didn't become a problem until just a couple years ago.
I've got somebody out here yelling at customers, making them uncomfortable. I have 2 or 3 across the street here, and it doesn't really bring about a family vibration.
This week, Sacramento County and city officials released the latest point-in-time count numbers, keeping track of the unhoused. While Sacramento saw a decrease, Folsom saw an increase. In 2022, Folsom documented 20 people, and this year, that number jumped to 133. But Folsom Mayor Mike Kozlowski wants to be clear about these numbers.
It's absolutely incorrect to describe it as a spike. It is not a surprising number. It is a number that we have known for several years.
Adding that the city has been working on ways to address the issue for a while now by trying to give Folsom police more resources.
Creating staffing for a homeless outreach team that is specific and assigned that thing only in the police department.
As the founder of Jake's Journey Home, a nonprofit providing services to the unhoused, Gene Schumann says an outreach team can be helpful, but can only go so far without any immediate housing options in Folsom.
If they have a place to go that we can keep them and let them live and exist and get them cleaned up a little more, it's going to be more beneficial.
Schumann was a part of this year's pit count and also says the numbers do not surprise her.
We try to get in there and help them and clean it up and get them into services.
While Schumann believes more resources in Folsom could help, Mayor Kozlowski says it might be a while before that happens.
There are no plans for that right now.
In the meantime, Tyndall hopes the services available can be beneficial to the unhoused and business owners.
And people who understand more mental illness, so that I can, if I've got so-and-so across the street, I can call and they can take him to a shelter.
And Jeannie joins us now. Jeannie, we know Folsom PD is looking to add a homeless outreach team, but that's not all that the city's doing.
Well, Becca, the mayor told me that Measure G will be on the November ballot. Now, that will be a 1-cent sales tax specifically for the city of Folsom. And if voters pass it, he says the city will use that extra revenue to continue to address the issue.
Great, Jeannie, thank you so much. We will be following this issue. Developing tonight in Citrus Heights, law enforcement is investigating after finding a body in a house fire. Sacramento Metro Fire says they received a call just before noon of a fire at a home on Oak Grove Avenue. When fire crews made their way inside, they found a dead person. It's unclear, they say, whether that person died before or during the fire. Police say all options are on the table, including investigating this as a homicide. Meanwhile, crews are investigating what caused a fire at a business complex in Rancho Cordova. It happened along Folsom Boulevard around 11 last night. Officials say the fire went through the roof of the complex and damaged about a dozen businesses. The fire district says there weren't any sprinklers in the building, which likely led to a more intense fire. And tonight, a woman is recovering after a shooting in North Highlands. It happened off Salazar Drive yesterday evening. Sacramento deputies say a man shot his girlfriend. It's unclear what exactly led up to the shooting, but the man is in custody. Exactly a week ago, we shared how businesses on the Broadway corridor in Sacramento are fed up after a gas station employee was robbed at gunpoint yet again. Well, tonight we're hearing from the C&B Food and Liquor store again after the owner says a thief broke in, stole money from the register, and caused thousands of dollars worth of damage. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias has the story.
The owner of C&B Food and Liquor says it was a neighbor who called to notify him that someone was climbing up a tree you see behind the building here up onto the roof. And when they started to hear a lot of the noise come, they called 911. Well, he says police showed up but left shortly after not seeing much here.
Hi, Chief. Long time no see. So a week ago, there was next door. Guess robbery and all this happening next door happens more. I did not know it's going to happen to me.
Just a week ago, we spoke to Ram Dharmendra about an armed robbery at the Chevron gas station next door. Well, little did he know his own store, C&B Food and Liquor, would be the next target.
I open the door in the morning. I come here. I look at the cash register first. I could not find the cash register. I looked. It was all in the, behind the counter, damaged, broken, and I didn't go behind there to look. So I came and I stood there and I saw the sunlight coming from there. I said, why is it so bright there?
The sunlight was coming from this hole made in the ceiling by a thief who made his way in. A few feet away, another hole where the thief made his way out with hundreds of dollars worth of money, alcohol bottles, and even lottery tickets.
Oh, there's a big mess here, big mess here.
A neighbor first called the store owner to alert him around 6 in the morning. Then his alarm company called, but it wasn't until about 9 in the morning when he arrived at the store to see for himself what happened. He says he called 911 a couple of times, but had to wait about 2 hours before Sacramento police showed up. The store owner says this is a clear example of why businesses here need help finding a solution to stop this.
I think the district council or the mayor, they should be over here, not one day, spend at least once a week in different areas of this district here and see what's going on.
Dharmendra says he's so fed up with this, he feels he has to take matters into his own hands. He tells us he plans to have an armed person come and live at the store.
You know, it's very tiring, very tiring. So just so you know, there'll be someone here and someone's gonna get hurt when they come next. I'm saying on the camera, don't cut it on the news. Someone's gonna get hurt. And I know a few other places here, they're doing the same thing.
The Sacramento Police Department says in part it is aware of growing concerns surrounding issues along the Broadway corridor. The department shares those same concerns and stands with our community, business owners, and stakeholders. The department has deployed bike officers to the Broadway corridor, and we will be increasing our presence to address these issues. Now, the store owner also says he would like to have a conversation with the mayor and the city council member, Rick Jennings. I reached out to both of them through email and through phone calls, but I'm still waiting to hear back from them. In Sacramento, Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
And we do have some positive news. Violent crime is dropping in Sacramento. New numbers show crimes like homicide, rape, robbery, and assault have been dropping for more than a year. Take a look here. Comparing the numbers from 2023 to 2022, we see overall violent crime decreased about 18%. Homicides and rapes are both down nearly 30%. Robberies are down about 3.5%, and aggravated assaults are down 23%. And the U.S. Department of Justice says numbers from the first quarter of this year show continued decline in violent crime, both in Sacramento and throughout much of the country. Among nearly 70 of the nation's largest cities, Sacramento saw the 5th largest decrease in violent crime. Sacramento police have told us this puts us closer to pre-pandemic levels, and they credit their partnerships with community-based organizations in preventing violence. Now, coming up on To the Point, California restaurants could be exempt from the new junk fee law, the new proposal from lawmakers, and the impact it could have on your dining experience.
Warm daytime highs to the north and mid-90s further south, 89 around Sacramento to 84 in Fairfield. How much cooler we could get this weekend.
And later on the back roads, we take you to railroad tracks where you can have an old-fashioned race using human-powered hand cars. ABC 10's meteorologist Carly Gomez joins us. Carly, we get a little bit of a break from this extreme heat, right?
That's right. We're going to be looking at much cooler temperatures. So nice for everyone this weekend to get a break from those triple digits. I mean, if you're ready to go in and enjoy the weekend, maybe spend some time by the pool, you can do that. Our pool forecast here will be a bit cooler than what you felt, but hey, it's definitely some temperatures you can get used to. Partly sunny skies and a little breezy as we start moving into the evening hours. About 86 degrees expected for your Saturday. And in the Big Mountain backyard, we're looking at temperatures right now in the low 80s for Sacramento, Stockton low 90s, as well as Modesto, mid 90s in Marysville with 81 in Tahoe. With our heat risk for the weekend, it'll be minor, especially around the Sacramento Valley area spots toward the Delta and toward San Francisco. Now, if you're north and south of Sacramento, you may be a little warmer, more of a moderate risk, as temperatures will be probably closer to about 90 degrees for you, especially around Yuba City all the way up toward Marysville. And then we'll see some major heat risk by Tuesday, Wednesday as temperatures begin to soar in the upper 90s. And for most places north and south of Sacramento, that means triple digits for you. Now, as we take a look at our weather headlines, you notice the breezy conditions there as you're looking at some grapes moving. And maybe you have plans to head to Napa. You'll be looking at a cooler weekend with those gusty winds continuing, but isolated Sierra thunderstorm chances are possible as well, as we'll see some storms kind of covering our area right around Nevada and toward the Sierra Crest. That's where we could see some thunderstorm chances, but more hot temperatures again are expected next week. So we've been tracking some areas here with some convection, a low pressure system beginning to develop as that heat rises, and it'll continue to shift. But we are looking just off the ocean here as more of that cold front begins to drag through. We'll see some cloud coverage for your Saturday and Sunday. Partly sunny to mostly sunny skies into Sunday, but wind gusts pick up into our evening hours every single day, at least through the weekend and even into Monday as you get some flare-ups closer toward the Tracy Triangle as well. Now, looking at the severe weather, there's our area and zone. We could potentially see some thunderstorm chances. Most of it should be over the Sierra Crest, but just a warning to you, if you're headed up there, if you see lightning, go indoors and be aware that anything could spark a fire, including those lightning strikes. Clouds will move through for the next couple of days before we get a lot of sunshine headed our way. And don't forget Father's Day. That is the following Sunday. We'll be looking at temperatures around 95 degrees and sunny. Your 10-day forecast, though, will bring our temps into those mid to upper 90s through next week.
Carly, thank you. Well, next on To the Point, prosecutors resting their case in Hunter Biden's gun trial. The testimony shared in court today, plus what's next for the trial. Plus, a wrinkle in the war on junk fees, why a law passed last year could end up hurting restaurants, and how lawmakers are trying to make it right. And later, an initiative to tax some homeowners in South Lake Tahoe moves forward. Who it could affect. The first week of Hunter Biden's trial has wrapped up as prosecutors rested their case today. The president's son is accused of buying a gun while allegedly addicted to drugs and lying on a federal form for the gun purchase. Morgan Norwood has more from testimony in court.
Federal prosecutors have rested their case against Hunter Biden, who faces 3 felony charges accusing him of lying about his drug use on a federal gun form. For days, the court heard dramatic testimony from several of the prosecution's witnesses, including Hallie Biden, the widow of Beau Biden, who testified about Hunter's alleged drug use around the time he purchased this Colt revolver in 2018. Hunter Biden's legal team maintains he was not an addict when he purchased the gun. Now, the defense presenting their case and calling their witnesses, including Hunter Biden's own daughter, Naomi, as they try to blunt Hallie Biden's testimony from yesterday. Naomi telling the court her father seemed great. He seemed hopeful when she saw him around October 18th, just days before Hallie Biden, who testified yesterday that she discovered and discarded his firearm in Wilmington. Earlier in August, Naomi described visiting her dad in rehab, saying, "He seemed the clearest I'd seen him since my uncle died." And before leaving the courtroom, Hunter and Naomi embraced. And during her testimony, Hunter appeared emotional and was seen at times touching his face. On cross-examination, prosecutors asking Naomi Biden if she ever witnessed her father using drugs, she said she had not. It was important testimony for the defense as they attempt to show Hunter Biden was not using drugs around the time he bought that gun. The defense also calling employees from the gun store that sold Hunter Biden the firearm.
Court will resume this Monday. It's still unclear whether Hunter Biden will take the stand. His attorney tells the court they're still deciding on that. Turning now to your price points. A law banning so-called junk fees across the state could soon be getting modified. 2 state senators introduced a bill Thursday that clarifies how restaurants would be required to deal with the junk fee ban. In the new bill, restaurants would still be able to charge things like service fees as long as they're clearly explained to customers ahead of the meal.
SB 478 was not intended to affect the restaurants, bars, and food service providers that had a clearly listed, transparent service charge or surcharge or additional fee.
The original bill was passed last year, but concern over restaurants' fees just started a few weeks ago. Business owners say the new bill will help restaurants who rely on service fees to make ends meet. Lawmakers say they hope to pass it on an accelerated timeline. South Lake Tahoe voters will get to decide in November if they want a vacancy tax. The El Dorado County Registrar of Voters says the initiative gathered enough verified signatures to get on the ballot. It now goes back to the city for the next steps. If passed, owners would pay $3,000 the first year and $6,000 the following years if their home remains unoccupied for at least half of the year. The money from the tax could only be spent on housing, roads, and transit, with housing as a top priority. A group behind the initiative, called Locals for Affordable Housing, say owners of vacant homes could be exempt from paying this tax by renting to a local resident. Well, it's time for another trip on the back roads. Tonight, John Bartel takes us to a stretch of railroad tracks in Folsom to experience the handcar races.
Every year, this seemingly ordinary stretch of railroad tracks in Folsom become the site of a fierce race.
Push it ready.
Ready.
Ready on the car.
Ready.
Set. Go.
This fierce race is known as the Folsom Handcar Derby, and only those with strong arms and a strong stomach can survive.
How do I win this race?
Pump till you puke.
If you don't know what a handcar is, Derby volunteer and racer Dan Basinski explains it like this.
They used to use this back in the early railroad days to either get the workers out to the tracks, workers and equipment, or just to inspect the tracks.
You may recognize handcars in old westerns or Buster Keaton movies. They're simple, human-powered maintenance vehicles that ride on tracks. Handcars weren't built for speed, but that hasn't stopped railroad enthusiasts from racing them.
Never been clocked on radar, but I would guess it's close to 30 miles an hour.
It's unclear when or where the first official handcar derby took place, but Gary Putman has been organizing handcar races all over the nation for over 40 years.
But I've done handcar races from Stone Mountain, Georgia, clear to Alaska. Probably about 150 handcar races I've put on.
Rules are pretty simple. It's a timed race. A team of 5 people see how fast they can move their handcar down the tracks. Only 4 people pump the handcar. The job of the 5th teammate is to get the handcar moving by pushing it.
Because this weighs over 800 pounds, so it's not easy to just get going from a dead start.
Competitors are a mix of return racers and random people off the street. In total, the teams pump and push down a 750-foot long stretch of railroad track, and much like a real locomotive, handcars don't stop on a dime.
Is there brakes on this thing?
Yes.
Oh, kind of.
It's just a wooden shoe that rubs on the wheel.
If for some reason there is a runaway handcar, there is a safety measure.
We have hay bales at the end of the track in case they don't stop. They hit the hay bales.
Classes of 73.
Men, women, young and old, handcar racing is a sport that everyone can participate in.
We are family.
And though it may not be popular enough to make an Olympic sport, Gary has high hopes that someday he'll catch the attention of Hollywood.
And I've always wanted to get Clint Eastwood to direct a movie about handcar racing.
An epic sports movie about handcar racing.
Yeah.
I can see it, yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with having big dreams, but until handcar racing hits the silver screen, you'll just have to experience it in person.
From the handcar races in Folsom, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
We want to get back to some breaking news we're following. An Amber Alert has been issued for missing 3-year-old Maverick Brown. Take a look at your screen here. This little boy has blue eyes, blonde hair, and was last seen wearing tan shorts and a tan shirt. Now, officers say he was taken this afternoon and is believed to be with 30-year-old Sierra Salatero. She is 5 foot 4 inches with blonde hair and blue eyes. The suspect and the child are believed to be walking in the Nevada County area. So if you see the child or the woman, please call 911. Stay with us on air and on abc10.com for updates. Now, as always, you can shoot the team an email at tothepoint@abc10.com. We're back on Tuesday due to the Stanley Cup. Thanks so much. Have a great, safe weekend.
Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.